It is 7:14 on a Sunday morning. The room is silent.
From the 43rd floor, the city below looks paused, suspended in that strange hour before movement begins. The only time cities ever seem honest is before the people inside them decide who they need to become for the day.
There is one notification on your phone. Your investments shifted $1.3 million overnight. You do not open it. You already know which direction it moved. You pour coffee. You sit near the glass. You watch the streets below. Nobody is coming to tell you what your day should look like. You did not begin here. Level 1.
You do not wake at a scheduled time on Sundays because Sundays are not real at this level.
Days only matter to people whose lives allow separation between them. You track temperature. You track safety.
You track the $31 in your pocket and the 12% remaining on your phone battery. This morning the objective is warmth. The public library on North Michigan opens at 10 o'clock.
It is 9:44. You have been awake since the sky shifted from black into gray.
You sit near the entrance of a parking structure, your backpack resting between your shoes, your shoulders against cold concrete.
The backpack contains everything.
A spare shirt.
A toothbrush.
A folded copy of a lease attached to a place you no longer live.
You never let go of the bag. Not even while sleeping. What nobody says openly about this level is that you are never inactive. Your brain is performing non-stop risk calculations that most people could not tolerate for 2 straight days. Threat assessment. Exit planning. Inventory management. Location analysis.
You process all of it automatically before most people have decided where they want brunch.
The library opens.
You walk inside and choose a chair beside an outlet. Your phone climbs to 17%. You sit in warmth and let the day stop demanding things from you for a while.
The librarian walks past. She does not ask questions. She does not ask you to leave. That is Sunday. That is the entire victory. Level 2.
You earn $31,000 a year.
You work inventory control at a distribution warehouse outside Memphis. You wake up at 8 o'clock. The apartment belongs to you. 1 bedroom. $840 each month. Utilities separate.
You remind yourself this matters because 20 minutes south people sleep beneath the overpass, and the distance between your life and theirs is sometimes nothing more than 1 bad month. The kitchen faucet drips slowly into the sink. It has been dripping for 3 weeks.
Your landlord still has not responded. You texted him again Friday. Nothing. You calculate the water cost in your head and decide not to fight about it today. Sunday is advertised as rest. In reality, it is maintenance.
Everything that could not happen Monday through Saturday because Monday through Saturday was survival.
Today you carry laundry to the laundromat 4 blocks away. $6 in quarters. You pay the electric bill online.
It is $16 higher than last month. You stare at the number repeatedly as though it might explain itself.
It never does. You pay it anyway.
The first rule: anxiety at this level is not usually catastrophe.
It is the accumulation of tiny unresolved friction that never fully disappears. Your phone vibrates at 2:17 p.m. Your manager asks if you can cover a shift at 4. The extra hours are worth $43 before taxes.
You stare at the message longer than necessary even though you already know your answer.
Yes. It is almost always yes. You go in. Sunday ends at 11:41 p.m.
You are tired in a way sleep does not fully repair.
Level 3. Lower middle class.
You make $54,000 a year in Phoenix.
You own a car.
A 2019 Honda Civic with 106,000 miles on it. You rent a 1-bedroom apartment and opened a retirement account last April that you barely think about anymore.
You sleep until 8:30. It feels strangely indulgent. You make coffee and check your banking app automatically. Checking account, $912. Payday is Friday. You close the app immediately. You plan to visit the farmer's market. Instead, you drive past it toward the normal grocery store. $11 for bread. $8 for honey. You already know how that math ends. The afternoon belongs to you. You go for a run. 3 miles. You return home, shower, make lunch, and turn on a show. For 90 minutes you feel like someone whose life is fully under control. The apartment is clean. The sunlight hits the room correctly. Nothing is currently broken. You allow yourself to enjoy it. The apartment is clean. The sunlight enters through the window at exactly the right angle. Nothing needs fixing. For a moment you allow yourself to believe things are stable. Then the student loan provider sends the monthly statement. $58,400 remaining. You have already been paying for 3 years. You close the email. You turn the show back on. The second rule, avoidance at this level is not weakness. It is resource management. You cannot solve the number today, so you refuse to carry it today. Level 4. Middle class. You and your partner earn a combined $148,000 a year. You own a house outside Cincinnati. 2 children. 7 and 9 years old. Sunday is somehow the most complicated day of the week even though nobody officially scheduled it that way. You wake at 6:53 because the older child is already downstairs. The day moves on invisible tracks. Soccer at 9. Groceries at 11:30. Meal prep in the afternoon so the entire week does not collapse by Tuesday evening. The dishwasher needs unloading. A permission slip still needs a signature. There is always one unfinished task that survived Friday and landed here instead. You love this life. That deserves to be stated clearly. You chose the neighborhood. The minivan. The loud Saturday mornings. None of it was accidental. This was the goal. But around 3 p.m. something changes in the house. Your partner grows quieter. You check work emails even though you promised yourself you would not. The children sense it. They become louder. The house suddenly feels smaller. Not because anything went wrong. Because Monday already started inside everyone's mind. That is the strange thing about Sundays at this level. You are not afraid of work. You actually enjoy your job. But the coming week has gravity. And by Sunday afternoon you are already being pulled toward it. After dinner you sit at the kitchen table reviewing next week's schedule on your phone. A cup of tea cools beside you. You are sitting in your own home, surrounded by silence, and mentally you are already halfway through Monday morning. The third rule, the middle class spends enormous effort earning back free time and spends Sunday evening watching it disappear again. Level 5. Upper middle class. You earn $220,000 a year working product management for a mid-size tech company in Austin. You have a financial advisor. A brokerage account. Retirement plans. College funds for each child. The quarterly investment summary arrived Thursday. You reviewed it. You felt something between satisfaction and low-grade guilt. Then you moved on. Sunday is when you remember why you worked this hard in the first place. You wake naturally at 8:45. No alarm. The house is nearly 4,000 square feet and there is a room you barely ever enter. You spend 42 minutes on the Peloton. Not as punishment. As maintenance. You make breakfast using real ingredients instead of convenience food. You sit at the kitchen island drinking coffee from a grinder that cost $280 and still feels worth the price. The house is quiet in the specific way wealth creates quiet. Good insulation. Large lots. Safe neighborhoods. Your children are 11 and 13 now. They sleep late.
That too feels like a form of wealth nobody mentions often enough.
Here is the part people rarely say out loud.
Your children attend private school. Tuition is $27,000 annually per child.
You belong to parent group chats that appear to discuss school activities but are actually subtle systems of social positioning. There is a fundraiser this spring. You contribute $1,500. You feel neither proud nor resentful about it. It is simply the cost of belonging inside this particular circle.
If you choose not to contribute, nobody says anything directly.
But everyone notices. You pay it. Sunday afternoon, you and your partner walk through the neighborhood discussing a vacation planned for June. Ireland. 11 days. $8,400 before flights. The deposit is already paid. You are not worried about the number.
And that, more than the vacation itself, is the luxury.
Not the trip. The absence of calculation. Level 6. Comfortably wealthy.
Your net worth sits somewhere between $4.5
and $7 million. You stopped tracking the exact number last year. The direction is what matters now. Direction across decades.
You wake at 7:41 on a Sunday morning in Asheville, North Carolina.
12 acres.
A house you designed with an architect who charged $32,000 for the plans.
Your nearest neighbor is also 12 acres away. There is no fence between the properties because neither of you needs one. The housekeeper comes Wednesday and Friday. The CPA manages quarterly tax estimates.
The property manager handles the rental units in Charlotte.
None of these people require anything from you today. This is what comfortable wealth actually feels like from the inside. It does not feel like dominance. It feels like reduced resistance. The tiny daily irritations that once consumed mental space begin disappearing. Overdraft anxiety. Negotiating repair bills. Calculating groceries down to the dollar. Gone.
And when those constant pressures disappear, something unusual happens.
Your mind becomes quieter.
That quiet fills with different thoughts.
You call your brother.
He lives in Sacramento and earns about $62,000 a year.
You talk for 40 minutes. During the conversation, he casually mentions an unexpected car repair. $1,100.
After hanging up, you transfer him $2,000.
No speech. No announcement. No performance. He never asked. You simply do it.
You spend the next 2 hours reading beside an open window.
No notifications. Nobody waiting for anything from you.
The fourth rule, freely controlled time, spent without interruption or obligation, is the one form of wealth that cannot be artificially duplicated.
Level 7. High net worth.
More than $20 million.
Sunday changes again. You are in New York this weekend because your life now exists mostly between destinations. The apartment on the Upper West Side is one of several properties. The others operate without your direct attention. You have been here 4 days. You leave for Miami on Tuesday. Sunday morning, your assistant sends the weekly briefing. Not world events. Your events. 2 board meetings. A legal review regarding restructuring on the Phoenix acquisition. A charity gala tonight that you agreed to attend 7 months ago. The gala costs $400 per plate.
Your table paid $30,000 for 10 seats.
You did not choose the charity yourself.
Your advisors selected it because the donor network overlaps with people useful to your next funding round.
You understand this clearly. You attend anyway. You shake hands with people whose names you will never use again.
You pose for photographs that will appear in trade magazines. You leave at 9:47 p.m. feeling nothing distinct enough to describe. The car carries you back across the park. You stare through the window at the city lights and try to remember the last Sunday with absolutely nothing scheduled on your calendar.
You cannot remember one. The fifth rule.
Beyond a certain level of wealth, your time slowly stops belonging to your freedom and starts belonging to other people's expectations of you.
Level 8. The final level is not really about a number anymore.
But the structure matters because the structure is the point. Your net worth exceeds $150 million. The portfolio shifts by amounts capable of changing entire families' lives and you barely react now.
You are in Malibu this weekend. Staff arrived before 6 a.m. The car is waiting downstairs. 2 security personnel stand in the lobby. Not paranoia. Probability management. An asset considered too valuable to leave unprotected.
The chef prepared breakfast perfectly.
You eat it alone. Your daughter called Friday evening. She is 23. She lives in Brooklyn in an apartment you intentionally do not pay for because she asked you not to.
She called simply because she wanted to talk.
No emergency. No request. Just conversation.
You spoke for 9 minutes before your chief of staff interrupted with something that, in hindsight, could easily have waited. You never called her back Friday night.
You told yourself you would do it Saturday. Saturday became Sunday. Now Sunday is ending. You pick up the phone. Then set it back down again.
You tell yourself tomorrow will be better.
And somewhere beyond even this exists another floor entirely.
A level most people will never approach and some people never psychologically escape.
At that point, Sundays stop resembling ordinary life altogether. The wealth is measured in billions.
The number becomes abstract. Not because you cannot comprehend it, but because the scale stops connecting to normal human experience.
The figure begins representing systems instead of purchases. A hospital network. A satellite company.
An infrastructure budget larger than some cities.
The number points toward all of those things. And eventually none of them feel fully real anymore.
Only the decisions still feel real.
You live inside a system engineered to eliminate friction completely. Staff who anticipate needs before you voice them.
A calendar organized with the precision of air traffic control.
A life polished smooth, one inconvenience at a time across decades.
You cannot remember the last time you stood in a line long enough to notice it.
And inside that perfectly optimized machine you are entirely alone. Not lonely. Alone. There is a difference. Lonely means wanting connection and having nobody.
Alone means being surrounded by people while remaining fundamentally unreachable to all of them.
Everyone around you has some relationship with what you represent.
Even the people who genuinely care about you are still navigating the gravity of your position.
Even the honest ones. You understand this now. You stopped resenting it years ago. You simply included it in the calculation.
Last Sunday, 8 days ago, you sat alone on the back terrace watching a red-tailed hawk circle above the valley for 22 uninterrupted minutes.
Nobody knew where you were. Nothing was being documented. Nobody needed anything from you. For 22 minutes you were not a valuation. Not a portfolio. Not a symbol inside someone else's strategy.
You were simply a person watching a bird move through open air. It was the clearest 22 minutes you had experienced in 4 months.
Think carefully about what that means. It is 7:14 on a Sunday morning. The room is quiet. The 43rd floor. The city still asleep beneath you.
Somewhere below, a 24-year-old is walking toward a library carrying a dead phone and $31. Somewhere else, a 31-year-old closes a student loan statement without finishing it. Somewhere nearby, a couple sits inside a house they fought hard to build, repeating financial calculations from memory while Sunday slowly becomes Monday around 3 p.m. And somewhere a few floors above, a person who once had nothing and built something enormous from it is staring not at the notification showing another movement in the market but at a contact labeled daughter trying to decide whether it is already too late to call.
The machine does not stop for any of them.
The elevator never cares which floor you live on.